In the field of alternate reality storytelling and online horror media, we see a lot of content that can easily be dismissed as fiction. Specialized editing, obvious acting, intentional drops and placement of cameras. We all know the tricks by now to spot a fake. But every now and then, we get something that does too good a job at playing the reality portion of alternate reality storytelling. It's no wonder I've been sent so many messages recently about Seventybroad. This channel is beginning to kick up way too much media attention as a result of how seriously it's been playing the game. Seventybroad received attention from a small whirlwind of news websites this October after viewers witnessed a series of videos that society has long feared might show up online someday. The confession of a real murder, recorded and uploaded by the killer who is now on the run. The first video on the channel is old cell phone footage from 2007, and for the moment, it's unknown if it has any relation to the story. Where events actually begin is with the video My Confession, uploaded on September 27th. The uploader, whose name isn't revealed at this time, expresses extreme remorse for being a killer on camera and in the video description. He didn't mean for this to happen, and he just wants to go home. He repeats not being in his right mind many times, and of course, how sorry he feels.
I don't even want to fucking live anymore. I can't fucking live like this. I can't fucking live here anymore. I'm fucking scared. I just want to fucking go home and I can't. I can't because they're gonna find me and take me away. I'm sorry for what I did. I'm so fucking sorry. It just wasn't my fault. I wasn't even right in my head. I wasn't in the fucking right place in my head.
During the next video on October 8th, he films an attempt to burn himself alive, though he seems to be acting a bit too erratic to hold the lighter while active, or get it close enough to his hood to actually set it on fire. The following video, Who I Killed, doesn't actually give us any information from the man directly. He promises to show us what he did soon enough, but mainly uses the recording to tell people that they'll never find him while laughing. There's something a bit interesting to take notice of in the very start of the video though. Listen closely and watch his hand movement.
They're telling me to turn myself in.
They're telling me to turn myself in, he says, pointing at his own head. This will be brought up again and again. Believe it. For now, we get his version of why this all ended up happening.
People know me, you know, I wasn't always like this. It's a fucking drugs, man. I know what I did wasn't right, but it fucks with your fucking brain. It completely fucks with your fucking brain.
He goes on to talk about how we'll see what he's done soon, and admits that he wasn't always like this before. But before we get any big reveals, he gives us a video titled 31 April 2014. I miss them so much. It's a recording of the dogs from his house who look very similar except for the color of the patches on their fur. He makes it clear in the video description that he didn't kill the dogs, he just seems to be missing them. We're told again that we won't find him and shown another clip from 2014 with people that he misses. Then, the video everyone was waiting for. 24th of September 2016. The Killing. Why I Had to Hide. Someone who isn't our uploader is holding the camera in the kitchen, recording a family gathering celebrating a mother's birthday. The uploader appears almost a minute in wearing a bathrobe, and he is referred to as George. Finally, we have a name. He accuses them of talking about him behind his back, and even though they insist that they weren't, George keeps pressing the issue.
No, you know I can hear you talking about me.
No, we wouldn't. We just thought we're asking where you are and how you are. Do you want a drink?
Fuck off.
Do you want a drink?
Fuck off.
It is my birthday.
Alright, mate, alright, calm down, mate.
It's Mum's birthday. Come on. Come on, George, don't ruin it for your mum.
Put the fucking camera down.
I didn't even, oh my. Oh.
What? Oi!
Put the fucking camera.
Alright, mate.
Alright, see the camera's down.
Tell me the fucking truth!
George, put the camera.
Oi!
Tell me the fucking truth! You're talking about me!
Calm down. Calm down.
Shut the fuck up! Get over there! Get over there! Get over there!
Get over here.
You're fucking lying! Tell me the fucking truth!
George!
Stop!
And there it is, the big reveal that our uploader, George, killed a member of his family, or possibly many of them. From here on out, we have several uploads of George reminiscing on his old life and a few rambling videos, involving one with George using spray paint to turn the word 7 on the wall into 70. In the video description, we get an interesting note. They moved me from Seventybroad to Seventybroad. It's the exact same, just need to update so I do not have to come to terms with it. What is Seventybroad? Where is Seventybroad? We're then provided a link to a Twitter account under the same name, Seventybroad. Twitter is where the real information lies for this story. From September 29th to October 20th, George refers only to himself and uses first-person writing. Starting on October 21st, that pattern breaks. Can you not see what I see? They are making it worse, trying to help. They moved me to a new one. They said I am staying here until I leave. This kind of message reflects what we read in the description for the video that came a few days later, which had George changing the word 7 to 70. The Twitter account really starts to come apart after mentioning them. Who am I talking to in here? I shouldn't have come to this abandoned place. I should have gone with them. Maybe I did. It's starting to become clearer. Still more work to do. I've missed this place. Did you think I found this place by accident? I knew where I was going when I shot the gun. They will send me to sleep. They care, really. Need to stop fighting. Embrace. For you. Yes, you. Do not let them tell you different. You are here. You can stay here. It's safer for you here. This place from before. Many tweets carry on like this, but there are a few highlights that stand out, and they're all conversations. We are dealing with it in our own way. What is Seventybroad? Where's Seventybroad? Nobody knows but us and them. Do not listen to them. Seventybroad was only temporary. Not that it makes much difference. It is irrelevant. They are basically the same. It is Seventybroad now. You were right. It is safer here. 7 and 70 are one and the same. I might as well stay here. It was just a coincidence. Time to redecorate the walls. 7T. Our way of coping with it. I wish they didn't move me from there. I was just starting to get used to it. I could have finally come to terms with where I am. No. Do not think too hard about it. Just stay here, where it is safe. If you have the need to accept what you have done, then do it when you have finished your story. Then reveal the true Seventybroad. Until then, you stay here. Finish what you have started. Maybe you do need to accept where you are. That comes at the end. Let's be honest, I could have chosen a nicer place. This is my way of punishing myself without taking away options. I miss real options. George really was talking about they when he was talking about the possibility of turning himself in. We don't see a lot of it on video, but on Twitter we find a wars raging inside of his mind between sides, maybe even more than two. George is apparently fighting against some kind of identity crisis, possibly fueled by the enormous anxiety that comes from what he's done, although whoever he's talking to alludes to existing far before the murder. I will play along for you though, from when we split off, 31st April 2014, because I know how much it means to you. That was the beginning, when I became myself. You get to be happy still. What do I get? To be stuck in Seventybroad. Somebody asked an important question. 31st April 2016. He won't admit to his mistakes. Perfectionist. Leave the comment on the video. Let everybody know you are an idiot. This alludes to a comment and reply in the video of the two dogs. Innocent bystander writes, "The 31st of April doesn't exist?" To which George replied, "It does, in here." So, from what we can gather, some kind of mental divide occurred on April 31st, and it may not have been during 2014, it may have been 2016. Whoever is inside George's head also disagrees with his perception. As for what even prompted this question, keep that in mind, we'll be getting to it in a moment. But for now, there's more concerning what George may be perceiving incorrectly. These following tweets underline an event we want to know more about. You do know the truth about what happened that night, don't you? 24 September 2016. Show whoever is listening at the end. Full circle. Full circle. The truth. The whole truth. And nothing but the truth. Felina. Oh, shh. You are spoiling the end. Those last two comments are far more revealing than those who read them may realize, and also allude to a very serious issue George has, which he outlines with an upload on the channel. Spoilers. The tweets that came shortly after underline the importance of endings and spoilers even more. You were obsessed with that show. Just because you glorify your ending, it will not make it any easier to deal with. I cannot believe how much you were going over the ending in your head. How do you think that makes me feel? You're the one putting me through it. I had a very real obsession with that show. He still does. He will make my ending amazing, putting me through all of this for his story. Something he has always wanted to make, so he tells me. 2 years in the making, he tells me. He isn't the one locked in here. What show is referred to? What ending? Why, only the ending to the series finale for one of the most popular TV shows of all time, Breaking Bad. The title of that series finale? Felina. You don't even have to be a Breaking Bad viewer to catch on to the show that George is apparently obsessed with. All you need to do is watch the video 12 June 2014, I Miss This Place, which records his return home from college. He enters his bedroom where there are 4 Breaking Bad posters on a single wall together. The ending to Breaking Bad's Felina episode was apparently just as big of a spoiler as the end of The Sopranos was. Something so major, so powerful, that letting out a spoiler was a hated sign of disrespect in society at the time. George's obsession with Breaking Bad and its finale have created something in him, a plan he's held onto for 2 years that whoever lives inside his head won't stop making him think about. The way that George and the voice in his head are communicating on Twitter, it seems almost as if George is in the position of a writer and the voice is a character in a story George has been composing, which was heavily inspired by Breaking Bad. Something he has always wanted to make, so he tells me. 2 years in the making, he tells me. You know he wanted to put me straight in Seventybroad. This is my way of resisting him. Can't make his life too easy, can I? For the one big twist. Just because you are obsessed with these shows, did you really think you can make your own? This is the big secret to what's actually going on with Seventybroad. George is not a killer confessing his murder online. He's a creator playing a character whose entire presentation is the very embodiment of metafiction. The alternate reality story inside George's head has overtaken him and become his reality. Whatever story he's been designing for 2 years took over his brain and created the situation that he's now in, and the voice he argues with over Twitter knows what's actually happening. This might be one of the most potent commentaries on alternate reality storytelling I've ever seen. It's both a web series playing the alternate reality angle and a flawless case of metafiction, playing on the idea of executing alternate reality storytelling itself. This is Alan tutorial levels of knowing what you're doing with your medium. These tweets from October 23rd really seal the deal for us. Nobody claimed this to be real. It is real for him. He has his story to tell. That's why he put me through all this. Think about what you've seen so far and what we haven't seen. Think about the very act of using YouTube, a platform initially known for uploading reality content as a fictional medium, and about the entire concept of alternate reality storytelling itself. The very idea behind this field is to deceive your audience. What if this isn't just about deceiving people by making them think they're seeing a real murderer on the run only for them to realize it's acting, but also to lure audiences into believing in the context of the story that George did kill someone, but in the end, the big twist is that he never actually did and has completely lost himself in the character he wanted to portray. Nobody claimed this to be real. It is real for him. He has his story to tell. That's why he put me through all this. George has a story to tell as a writer, a story that is not real, but he believes it to be real. We may have our first case of the actual creator of an alternate reality web series playing a character who wanted to make an alternate reality web series and accidentally became his character, and because of his mental breakdown, that became the series that we're watching. I know that's confusing, so let me just state that in a different way here. The real George, the one who runs this YouTube channel and is an actual person that you can meet in real life, is playing a character named George. This character wrote a story about a character named George going on the run from murder, and somewhere along the way, the first fictional character of George who plotted it all out ended up as the main character of his own story. He was inspired by Breaking Bad, and he can't let go of the idea of a big twist ending, so he's afraid of spoilers. Does this mean that George actually killed his family in the story, or did they just act as part of his alternate reality series to help him create it and he lost his mind in playing the role, which is the big twist ending? We're so early in the game, it might turn out differently, but that's what I'm thinking based on the evidence. Anyone who runs an alternate reality series actually wants the audience to figure out that it's fiction and then just play along, because if someone actually believes it, then it becomes dangerous, and you get people actually reporting someone who's just acting to the police, claiming they're a murderer on the run, and now that creator has to deal with the police over their work. I very much doubt that the big twist is George the character revealing at the end that he was just playing the whole time. A much more powerful twist would be finding out that he's the one under the illusion, as if he were a viewer who actually did believe that he murdered his family, when in the reality of the story, they just helped him film that scene. This would be the most major twist in a case of a character losing their mind. Have I just revealed a major spoiler in the case of Seventybroad, or am I off the mark? That's all up to what occurs in the story. Again, we are so early in this project, we could get piles upon piles of evidence in the coming weeks that lead to a much different outcome. But from what we have right now, this is what the information is telling me. George, as a character in charge of our perception of the story, seems to be entirely fixated on a big twist. The finale to this series may be designed specifically to circumvent any theories posted online, just to achieve that grand twist ending, because George has the absolute power to do so, it's his one desire, and we don't know what the voices in his head want yet. What I can tell you for sure though, is that this very much is fiction, and the evidence is everywhere. If George was a murderer, information about this would be so much more widespread, and he would have already been apprehended. We had a firestorm of mainstream media from Marina Joyce, who was never even kidnapped or in danger. Imagine if George actually was a murderer on the run. There would be nowhere you could turn without seeing a headline about this with contact information for local authorities. He also has a laptop with him, so we know he does have the ability to edit footage on the go, but if he really is a fugitive, then sneaking into areas with open Wi-Fi to upload videos would be very difficult. He can't be using his phone in any way because GPS locating is built into basically every smartphone you can buy now, and you can bet the police would use it. There would also be an active query to monitor any IP address that uses his accounts on both YouTube and Twitter, and triangulating his location based on which Wi-Fi hotspots he's been using would create a perfect situation for investigators. Finally, the way that things were crafted in the series gives us everything we need to know it's fake. The camera gets put on the ground before George commits murder. The gunshot you hear is way too quiet for how close it was when it fired inside of a kitchen. The account asking that important question referenced on Twitter joined on October 22nd, just in time to post that one single comment they made. And everything from the content on YouTube to the Twitter screams of alternate reality storytelling. For a man on the run, George also has really awesome luck when it comes to finding clean new sweatshirts to wear in all of these different videos, and he looks like he's had a good shower more than a few times. And for a guy on the run whose activity just began, isn't it interesting how he has ads on quite a few of his videos? Amazing how he had the foresight to open an AdSense account and be paid for the views he gets before unexpectedly going on the run for murder. So yes, when it comes to Seventybroad, don't believe for a single moment that it's anything but fiction. The signs are all there. Definitely keep an eye on this one. It's really pushing to be something very different and unexpected. My only criticism would be that so much of the information needed to understand what direction it's going is on Twitter, where most viewers aren't going to see it. If a lot more people followed both accounts, I think they'd have a more streamlined experience. But that's all for tackling this latest viral boom. Once again, you can rest assured it's false and enjoy the ride for where it takes us. I'll certainly be watching. A big shout out to all of my supporters on Patreon whose support helps me cover things like this as soon as they come up. Stick around to see their names at the end of this video. Thanks for joining me in the dark again this evening. Once more, I'm Nick Nocturne, and just like a totally real, 100% legitimate, not a prank murder uploaded to YouTube again instead of LiveLeak, I'll be seeing you real soon. Sleep tight.